Hey, what's going on? This is Incomplete the Poet back at you again. Now, I want to share with you on how to have that great stage presence, right? How to perform a poem from memory, okay? How to be a true spoken word artist. Now, a lot of people tell you, well, you don't have to memorize your work. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't have to just always bring it to the brain. Only thing I'm saying is this. You never see a doctor going into the operating room with a manual on how to do surgery. You don't see a dentist coming in there with his textbook. You know what I'm saying? So if this your craft, if this what you want to do, whether it's a hobby or whether it's something that you're doing professionally, if you're doing this, you know what I'm saying, have pride in your craft. Perfect your craft. Take your craft to the next level. Now, in order to do that, I memorize all my work. All my work, I always memorize. Now, there's something I call doing suicides, which means whenever I write a poem, okay, I go over that poem, 2 stanzas at a time, right? So probably about a good 30 minutes, those 2 stanzas. I'm kind of going over it, trying to recall it in my mind. Going over it, recalling it in my mind. And then I drop down to the next 2 stanzas. Going over it, recalling it in my mind. Going over it, recalling it in my mind, so on and so forth until I completed the whole poem, right? Now, once I have the whole poem completed, that's when the suicides begin. If you know what suicides are, if you ever played sports, it is when you run from one line back to the starting line, to the second line back to the starting line, to the third line back to the starting line, to the fourth line back to the starting line, so on and so forth. So this is the same thing that this is. This is called what I consider doing suicides, right? So I'll start off with that particular poem, right? At any point in this particular poem, if I mess up, I start back over from the beginning. No matter if I messed up on the first line or the last line, I'll start back over from the beginning. And the key thing is, I want to do this poem consecutively 25 times in a row without messing up. Okay? Every time I mess up, I'll start back over from 1. Okay? So this is pretty much, it is tedious, but I promise you, if you can perfect it, if you can get that down packed when you're trying to memorize a poem, you're going to have it on lock. You know what I'm saying? It's going to always be with you. 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, it will always be with you because you embedded it in your mind, okay? So the suicides are a great tool to use in order to memorize your piece. When I'm trying to memorize the piece, I will never perform it, okay? I'm just going over in my mind, I'm just reading it out loud, I'm trying to recall it back in my mind, but I'm not necessarily performing it. Once I get that 25 consecutive times down in a row, once I get that, then at that point I can start perfecting it. It's at that point I can start memorizing it. It's at that point I can start putting my little different nuance towards it. I can put my little charismatic spirit to it. I can go ahead and put my little twang to it. But that's only after I have already dedicated it to memory do I perfect the performance half of it, okay? So please just take this particular step. I know it seemed tedious, I know it seemed hard, but at the same time, it's going to help you memorize it. And then once you have it memorized, you know, ain't nothing like making eye contact with your audience as you're doing your piece. Because you can see exactly how they feel towards what you're saying. You don't have to look down, look up, find somebody. Look down, look up, find something. No, when you constantly making eye contact, it makes a big difference. And then it also shows your dedication to that particular topic. And they feel like, man, this topic must really mean a lot to him because he took the time to memorize it. You know what I'm saying? So memorizing your piece do go a long way, you know, so just practice that. No matter how long the poem is, no matter how short the poem is, that goes a long way, okay? So once again, this is Incomplete the Poet. Thank you for bearing with me, you know, and we are dropping videos one after another, just hoping to keep you fed, hoping to keep you informed, and hope to keep you on top of your game, all right? All right, I'll holler at you.